stepping into life, we're ready to shine. With every step forward, we're crossing the line. Embrace the hustle, let the fire ignite. Together we rise, we'll conquer the night.
Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Welcome to another episode of the Tapping into Life podcast. I am your spiritual life coach, Matthew B, back with another episode, continuing to bring all this love and knowledge and wisdom and kindness and joy and happiness and all things positive to each and every one of you. So come on in. I'm excited, very excited about this episode today. Today's episode, I have the results of my 23andMe DNA. All right. Yes, I have the results of the lineage, the DNA, the family history of who I am in my humanness and as it pertains to my family bloodline from both my maternal and paternal sides of the family. Okay, so I am excited to share this information. Some of these results, I'm like, okay, I understand that. But then there were some that was like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on now. But I'm excited to share. I am happy. It has been very joyful. So so come on in. Before we move on, before we get started, like, share, follow on YouTube, Tapping into Life, all one word, on Facebook, Tapping into Life LLC, and on Instagram, tapping underscore into underscore life. Yes, I know that's a lot. Okay. I know that's a lot. All right. But join in. Come on. This is exciting for me. Um, and I hope I can persuade each and every one of you to do the same thing I did in finding out who you are, your bloodline, where did you come from around the world, okay? Because I found out as an African American man or someone who identifies as African American that I got some DNA from some other ethnicities and races around the world. So I'm excited. All right. I'm like, this is interesting. But when you read up on the history of the regions that you came from, you will better understand, right? So I'm gonna jump into it. I'm so excited. But first, I'm gonna tell you that this particular episode was supposed to be way back in the early part of November. Okay. I was supposed to do this the early part of November. What happened is, I'm going to tell you the process. So you order your 23andMe uh, package, right? When you get it, you have to spit into a tube. You don't have to draw blood. You don't have to take a piece of your hair. You don't have to scrape skin. It's a simple spit into a tube. The tube is about this big. You shake it up, put it in a box, put the shipping label on, and off the package goes. Before you send it off, make sure you register because there's a code that you gotta put in online. So you register your account, then you ship it off. It has several steps, and with these steps, there's a certain amount of time each step. So one step may take 3 days, the other step may take a week, the other step may take a week to 3 weeks, and it constantly give you updates. So they will send you updates. And then when you get to the last step, it'll notify you to let you know, hey, your results are ready. Right. But it normally takes, from what I gather in the beginning, it would normally take about 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. However, however, like everything in the world, things get backed up. Okay, like it's just like the DMV gets backed up, your license registration gets backed up. If you're ordering something, that might get backed up. All these things get backed up, including 23andMe. So I kept getting notifications that, oh, we're still in the process, but due to high volume in A, B, and C, this is the expected date. And it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Listen, I understand the patience when it comes to waiting for something that you're excited to get. Okay. So all of you parents out there, you first time parents, and y'all waiting on y'all's babies, on y'all's, on your kids to come into this world, I understand the anxiety, the patience, the anxiousness. Like I understand all of that. I understand when people who are getting their driver's license for the first time, you gotta wait so you can, you gotta wait so you can get in your car and drive. I understand. I understand. Because I'm gonna tell you, for the past for the past 1.5 months, it was like, oh my goodness, come on with the results. Like, how long does it take for you to take my spit and let me know where I come from? Like, how long does it take? It, like I said, it kept being pushed back, pushed back. So I'm like, well, dang, man, I really want to, do an episode, and I'm going to do an episode, but oh my gosh, when I'm going to do this particular episode, because it seems like every time I'm expecting to do the episode, I get a notification that my result, that the time frame is getting pushed back. So on December 1st, I got the email, and I was super, super, super excited. And I read it. And like I said, I was, some things that I was shocked about, some things that I wasn't. And I began doing my research on some things. I'm going to share this information with you. But before I do that, y'all do y'all 23andMe. Okay. You do your 23andMe, get that DNA in, you know, this is the only time where spit is acceptable. But like I said, it tells you a lot of information, and then 23andMe, you register your account, you put your information in that's on the package, and then once your results come in, you're then able to look at your family tree. So anybody who also in your family who also did 23andMe will pop up on your family tree. And also anybody who has done 23andMe that shares the same DNA, it's a list. It's a list. You could do like a map view, and all these people around the world, you share the same DNA, whether they're your second cousin, your third cousin, your fourth cousin, your fifth cousin. It's remarkable. It's remarkable, and I'm going to share. I'm get into it. I'm not gonna hold y'all. We already 10 minutes in. How we already 10 minutes in is beyond me. I talk too much. Okay. It's informative, but I talk a little too much. But anyway, I have my paper right here. I'm going to read it with you. Y'all ready? So when it comes down to spiritual life coach Matthew B, majority of my DNA, majority of my bloodline comes from West Africa. Well, no, I'm gonna go back. The sub-Saharan African. Okay, so that's pretty much West Africa. Um, West Africa, of the 77.4% of my sub-Saharan African DNA. Of that 77.4%, 64% is, no, I'm sorry, 32.3% is Nigerian. So of that, so it's the sub-Saharan African, 64 of the 77.4% is West African. Of that 64%, 32.3% is Nigerian. So I have a good chunk of Nigerian running through my blood. I got some Nigerian blood. All right. And I'm pretty sure once I share this information with my stepmom, she's gonna be like, that is amazing. Because that's how she talk, y'all. I don't mean to pick on her, but when she get excited, that's how she talks, okay? But yeah, 32.3% Nigeria. All right. Of that 64% West African, I am 13.6% Ghanaian, Liberian, and Sierra Leone. Sierra Leonean. Okay. Now you gotta map out these regions in the world, right? Now, when we're talking about West African, it's on West Africa, right there near that region that you got your. Well, what are my thoughts? Oh my goodness, my coffee has not kicked in. You got your Atlantic Ocean. A lot of the West African region um, was part of the slave trade, unfortunately. All right. So a lot of, and then this has been in history, a lot of African Americans, if we trace our bloodline, a lot of us, not all, but a lot, we would have DNA coming from the West African region because, like I said, we're part of the slave trade. All right. That's something that we got to accept. This in history. There ain't nothing we can do about it. We can't go back in time. All right. We can just acknowledge things. I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but all right. Of that 64% West African, 12.8% is Congolese and Southern East African. So now we're moving to a different region of Africa. Okay. Now we're moving to a different region. And so Congolese and Southern East African, kind of moving towards the eastern part of Africa. Um, and it also says 19.2% of that 64% is Angolan and Congolese, then Southeastern Africa. So like Kenya, it traced to Kenya. It also traced to like countries around Kenya. If you look on the map, I can honestly tell you. Give me 1 second, because I actually have 23andMe pulled up just for this particular. Let me see if it's gonna come up. Just for this particular episode. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. So we're going to have. Okay. Why doesn't it have the name of the country? Okay, there we go. So we started off on the west side of Africa, Nigeria, uh, Ghanaian, Liberian, Sierra Leonean. Okay. Um, and this goes, then we get to like the southeastern part of Africa where we have Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia, uh, Central African Republic, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, uh, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon. I hope I'm saying this right. So, like that region, right? So, my lineage goes from, it basically goes from West Africa to the eastern part of Africa with, so like Nigeria, Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. So that's where the southeastern part is. All right, so that's considered the southeastern region of Africa. All right. This is very, 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 very exciting. The more I read it, okay, this is super exciting. And also with that, that's it. Um, so like the stronger parts of, okay, so the stronger parts of the southeastern African, the 12.8%, it are the countries that I just named like 5 seconds ago. Um, and then there's a smaller part of the southern East African. That's your Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Botswana, uh, in South Africa. So the Western is where most of my African DNA comes from. The Western Africa part, stretching on, like literally stretching on to uh, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, Kenya, that region, Ethiopia, and Somalia. All right. So that says a lot because, you know, when you're looking at especially Africa during that time, you had a lot of these countries were not countries. Um, and also you also gotta and during this time you had like different sets of people. So in one country, what is now one country, you might have had two different sets of people. All right. So you had the A people over here and the B people over here. You know, they had different beliefs, different some may have practiced different religions, they may have had different cultures. They come in, some, you know, two or multiple parties or multiple people from two different group of people decide they want to fall in love. So now you have, you know, one baby or one new group of people see that's kind of a mixture of people A and people B, and you know what basically goes on in the world today. All right, what basically goes on in the world today. All right, you just didn't have the mixture of races if y'all get what I'm saying. It was not as it is now, to where, you know, somebody, you know, you had ethnicities by way of different culture and different people, but there were not different races back then. Because we all know back then, you know, you had two races and y'all fell in love with each other. That was just like the number one top thing that you just did not do. You know, but times have changed. Moving on. Also, all right, now see, this is where the rumors are no longer rumors, they're facts. Now, before I go on, also with 23andMe, you could tell which, you know, where your DNA comes from as it pertains from your parents. So your mom and your dad. So on my mom's side, it was pretty much dominant in the West African part of Africa, like the western part of Africa, right? That's what they call the sub-Saharan region of West Africa. My mom's side, pretty much in that region, and my mom's side and onward, pretty much in that region. Okay, my dad's paternal side comes from Democratic Republic of the Congo, Gambia, Equatorial Guinea, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, that region. All right. But a part of his DNA also comes from like Chad and Niger. All right. So that's why when it says, you know, Southeastern African, that's my dad's part. If you take, you know, my DNA on my paternal side, a lot of the African DNA would come from that region, the Southeastern African region of Africa. Um, which, like I said, like these people really did not mingle or intertwine with each other. You really didn't get that mixture and all of that until once people got over to the Western Hemisphere by way of the slave trade. You know, because by that time, years and years and years later, you know, now you got Africans that are born in the Western Hemisphere. So by that time, nobody knew where they came from. You know, your great great grandfather or your great great grandmother did not, you know, were not alive to tell you, oh, you're from this country and you're part of these people. You know, you didn't get that, you know, the mixture and the intertwining until you got to the Western Hemisphere. Interesting, isn't it? But I looked up a lot of these, you know, different regions and different countries and the different people. Um, and I'm still doing a lot of research, but I researched some of these things and, you know, and I'm looking at my facial features and I'm looking at some of my family's facial features and I'm like, yeah, 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 that does it. That does it. That because I'm gonna tell you now, there are some family members who have certain features like Ethiopians. You know, they have certain features. And I'm like, yep, yep, yep. That does it. But this is where we come from. This, you know, DNA don't lie. It's 99.9% accurate. This is where we come from. Okay, so this is the smoke right here. Not the smoke, but this is the interesting part, right? I remember one time, many, many years ago, and I had to be in about like teenager, like that middle teenage years. Where my grandma says, and I don't even think she remembered this, but I remember her saying it, that one of our ancestors rendezvoused with the slave master's daughter. This is what grandma said now. My maternal grandmother, she says this. One of our ancestors, allegedly, or that was the family rumor, that one of our ancestors rendezvoused with the slave master's daughters. I'm like, oh. I'm like, so grandma, we got some Caucasian in us? She said, possibly. I don't know, possibly. But that's what they say. That's what that's what the rumor is. I said, okay. Okay. So so from my mid-teens all the way up till now, it's like it hasn't been proven, but it could be a possibility. Well, on my maternal grandmother's side, like my mom's side, right? Excuse me. It showed predominantly more Caucasian than on my dad's side. My dad's side, the percentage was like very, very small. It was like 1.2, 1.3%. But on my mom's side, it was brought in that of the 19.8%, my 23andMe results, I am 19.8% European Caucasian. That's what it says. And this comes from the northwestern region of Europe. British and Irish, and stemming from North England and southern Scotland. So from the northwestern part of Europe. That's where your English settlers come from. It is 13 point. I'm sorry, it is 19.8%. 1.6% of that is from the Scandinavian countries. So Scandinavian countries, they don't use the terminologies now in school. So for those who want to know, your Scandinavian countries are like places like Norway, Sweden, and Finland, and Denmark. Okay. 0.2% French and German. And the remaining 3.6% are coming from other countries in the northwestern European region, like Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, France, Switzerland, Austria. All right. Now that's the Caucasian side. All right. So I got a little more Caucasian in me than I would have thought I had. But it's there. DNA don't lie. All right. we finding out who I am, as far as my bloodline and my DNA. So moving on. 1.4% Indigenous American. I do not know why they just don't say Native American. I don't know if Native American is a term less used now. And I do know that I've heard a lot Indigenous American. I don't know why they didn't say Native American. I don't know if there's difference. Some, people who I went to school with, if enlighten me. Like I'm not saying, I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but what's the difference, if there's any difference at all? Because I was always taught Native American, and Indians was not the correct term. Indians were people from India because of the whole Christopher Columbus thing. But what people would say, American Indians are called Native Americans. Then they, fast forward, it's Indigenous Americans. So, like I said, I don't know if there's like a particular difference, and if it is, somebody please educate me. I have not looked it up. Um, that was like a thought that just ran across my mind, like just now. Like, what's the difference, if there any difference? But anyway, I am 1.4% Indigenous American, which the 1.4% also shocked me because on my paternal mom's side, I have Native American family. And on my mom's dad's paternal side, they're full-blooded Native Americans, right? So at 1.4%, they really couldn't pinpoint exactly, you know, what tribe, or or what indigenous people that share the same DNA as me, which is understandable. But but the number, I thought it would have been a little more. However, when it comes down to like my siblings, like my brother and my sister on my mom's side, I can understand they probably got more indigenous American DNA in them than I do, because of their physical features. Their hair, and how the hair changes, and certain things like that. Okay. Also, we're gonna go from Africa. We're gonna go all the way. Y'all like, Matthew, is that enough? No. We're gonna go all the way. DNA has proven that I share DNA with people. Are you ready? Of East. No. Let me go back. Did I skip that one? Hold on. Okay. So I also share a small percentage of DNA with, y'all ready? On my paternal side, I share a small percentage of DNA with the Middle Eastern region. Uh, and this small part of DNA comes from Yemen, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. It's a very, very, very small percent. I think the other, yeah, it's like 0.3%. Like 0.3%. But if you look, like, that kind of makes, I kind of see that 0.3%. If I'm looking on the map and countries to where Uh, my paternal great grandfather's side, his DNA is shared. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, because you basically separate those countries in Africa from like it's basically separated by a body of water which is not that big. I mean, it's probably big, but it's not that big, like a whole ocean. So that makes sense. Um, I am also 1.2% East Asian. Let's go over here to East Asia. This is what you call the Austronesian region. All right. So East Asian, 1.2%, including Indonesian, Thai, Khmer, Khmer. Oh, that's Cambodia. Okay. And or somewhere near Cambodia. And also the Myanmar or the Myanmar. I gotta research that one. That region. So, like when you got your Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, Malaysia, like that region. That's your Austronesian region of the world. I have DNA, 1.2% of that. Also, of that 1.2%, the 0.7% is Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, and 0.5% of the 1.2% is the Philippines. So I'm 0.5% Filipino. All right. Hey, interesting. Um, and then that also like different islands and stuff in that region. And also have Papua New Guinea. Okay. Yeah, I got it. All right. I'm like all over multiple continents here, y'all. multiple continents. Multiple continents. All right. So 0.1%, the DNA was so faint and so small that they couldn't necessarily go into detail about it. But and they went by other people who did 23andMe, um, their testing, stemming from, well, found in, I'm sorry, North Carolina, Northern Piedmont African Americans. So the Piedmont region of North Carolina, and I actually looked on a map, like it has like a map view, which I don't know, and it doesn't say which part on my mom's side, on my daddy's side, which part, who's who, right? Because my dad's side of the family, you know, is majority in North Carolina. My dad's paternal side of the family is majority in North Carolina, right? My mom's, my paternal grandmother's side of the family is in Georgia, but they also came up to South Carolina and North Carolina. So I had to look on the family tree to decide, okay, you on this side, you on this side. Got it. All right. And then also in coastal Georgia coastal plain African Americans. So which makes sense because my grandmother has also says on my mom's side, my grandmother has also said that we have some Gullah Geechee blood in us, right? Gullah Geechee blood in us. That's what grandma say now. And I mean, if you say the Georgia coastal plain region of Georgia, that's in that region. So that kind of makes sense. And also, a once again, 0.1% that, like I said, very faint and really could not be detected, but they could detect the region was from Barbados, all right, and South America, Guyana. The hell is Guyana at? I have to look on the map. Give me 1 second. Guyana. How do you spell that? Guyana. Okay. Yeah, so I got some DNA in Guyana. That is in South America. Where is that at in South America? Give me a map. Map. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. So that's okay. So near Venezuela and Suriname. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Okay, in that region, like the northeastern region. Okay, south of what did I say? South of Venezuela. Okay, like southeast of Venezuela and northwest of Suriname. I promise you. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Um, which once again makes sense because of the slave trade. Okay, so and like I said, and also Barbados. So I like I said, I was shocked. I wasn't expecting the Guyana to pop up and the Merard Mahaica. I wasn't expecting that to pop. I gotta research them. Because honestly, I've never heard of these countries before. I mean, and Guyana is a decent sized country for somebody not to hear about. So I gotta, yeah. Which, like I said, it makes sense because of the slave trade and um, yeah. And then in the last one, it says regions that reflect mixed ancestry or more recent migration in your ancestry. That's pretty much where you're like, look, that ain't no point in even going further with that DNA because we can't barely pick apart, things from that. But no, this right here is very, very, very interesting. I found so much joy in reading my results and uh, you know, the family rumors are true, which hey, whatever. But the rumors are true. Actually, you could go, like I said, it's on a map and it tells you everybody who shares your DNA and where they're located, for those who actually did the 23andMe, right? So I could be living down the street from somebody who is my third or fourth or fifth cousin, but I'll never know if they didn't do the 23andMe, right? So I actually have both African American and Caucasian people in the state of North Carolina that share my DNA. People all around, African American, Native American, and Caucasian, all around the country that shares my DNA. And it tells you, third cousin once removed, fourth cousin, fifth cousin once removed, you know. Um, I knew about one of my cousins that is on my family tree. She shared her information and on my family tree. Me and her grew up together. Like I know who she is. But it was somebody in that same region where we grew up, that same area in North Carolina where we grew up, that I did not know about. I don't know if she knew about this guy, but I did not know about. So I'm going to reach out to him because that's our cousin on my dad's side of the family, from how it's looking. So I'm gonna reach out and see. I don't know. But yeah, y'all please y'all gotta try it. Just try it. I think like now let me see. Let me go back. I think it's like $35 to get the kit. So like your basic kit runs you, oh, it runs you $49. I know I no, yeah, $49. I knew I paid something. I forgot how much I paid for it, but I knew I paid something. And with that, once you get your results, I mean, once you get the package, you sign in on your account or whatever. There are different plans, and in these different plans, it gives you more information, right? So I can go with the one I got. I can go based on my DNA, what's the percentage of certain physical features like eye color? It's a terminology to where when the sun hits your hair, some people, when the sun hits their hair, it changes color during the spring and summertime, because that's like when a lot of us are outside. I think it's photo something something something. I look, I wasn't. I mean, I passed biology, but we didn't learn that terminology. I'm just saying. Um, it gives you certain traits. You can go deeper into your maternal hap- haplogroup and your paternal haplogroup. Uh, Also, with my paternal haplogroup, the DNA line stems all the way to red. Hold on. All the way to Ramesses the third, the Pharaoh Ramesses the third. He was a pharaoh born in 1217 BC. Hold on. Yeah, so, oh gosh. So that line um, traces all the way back to Pharaoh Ramesses the third, not the one that enslaved the Israelites, his grandson. Well, yeah, you might as well say the same thing. But yeah, so I mean, it's very interesting. And then with, you can go further back and, you can find out um, more with your lineage and your family DNA. You also can find out how prone are you to certain illnesses and um, or different ailments and things of that nature. I wasn't trying to do all that. I really wasn't trying to do all that, which I think is really important because, especially when you go into the doctor, I mean, it's probably in everybody's best interest to talk to our older family members, to know what our medical history are, what our medical history is. So when we go to the doctor, you could say, "Hey, doc, my family has this, and this, and this," and they'll be able to, in return, look out for it, and better treat us, for whatever issues we may have. Um, and then you got your DNA painting report, which I forget what that is. Oh, uh, and that goes to like, because you have 23 chromosomes. However, each chromosome line, it tells you what percentage of, like, what percentage of your DNA is more in that line. So for so out of 23, your first line it might be more of Caucasian, and the rest may be African American. Or if you're Asian, it might be more of Middle Eastern, and the small percentage might be Hispanic. So it gives you that as well. Y'all gotta really, really check this out. Y'all gotta really check this out. And it's not like you ain't gonna look at it and not know what the heck you're looking at. You'll honestly and truly, it'll basically give you direction on where, what to look, how to read certain things, and further information to help you understand. But like I said, this was so exciting for me because now, I know where my bloodline is as far as different regions, and where I come from, and learning more about, depending on the regions and the people that I come from, the culture, and a little history on them, and how they lived, and back then, and how they're living now, and what cultures, what religions, to me, I'm that type of person. I like learning different culture and lineages and beliefs and stuff like that, because it's very informative to me. um and it also will explain a lot of things, because I didn't know a good chunk of West Africans, primarily roundabout in the Nigeria region, um, practice Yoruba. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Um, at the same time, you have Christianity and the Islamic faith, right? There's a certain part. Hold on. There's a very, 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 very small part in Africa that that's the only part that speaks Spanish. It's like, I want to say Equatorial Guinea, but I might be wrong. So let me go and let me go back. And while that's loading, you could also do like historical matches, but you would have to upgrade from the basic plan. And I'm gonna tell you now, it's a bit, but I mean, hey, so like e- Equilateral Guinea, I think it's very small, but that's like the only part that speaks Spanish. So I mean, this is very, very, very exciting, and you think you just when you think where where your bloodline is and where you come from. You get your 23andMe, and it's like, whoa, interesting. Because I would have never known, like, a small percentage, of my DNA is shared with Middle Eastern, like Saudi Arabia and stuff. Like, I would have never known that. I would have never known that. So it's like, wow, okay. Um, or DNA shared with, small percentage in, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Guyana, which is in South America, Barbados, you know, uh, the Austronesian region, which was very, 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 very shocking. I mean, it's nice and exciting. To me, it was exciting. Maybe, some people may not be interested in all of that, but to me, it was very exciting. I recommend everybody take $40 and buy a 23andMe kit and learn where your bloodline is and your lineage is. I do. I recommend that because that also, in some way, shape, or form, it's going to help you out on your spiritual journey. And once you research the regions, that your DNA, comes from, you would better. I was reading a lot of it now, and it makes perfectly good sense on how I perceive spirituality and my journey and how I look at things and why I look at things the way I look at things. And then I'm researching and a lot of the philosophies and the beliefs of, these regions, especially in Africa, they were pretty much their philosophy and their way of thinking was pretty much the same things. And I'm like, okay, now that makes sense. So, because you hear about certain things in school. It's not until you get down to the DNA, okay? Not just your physical DNA, but your spiritual DNA. And you find out a lot of stuff that make you think, now that makes sense. Now I understand A, B, and C. Now I understand X, Y, and Z. That makes perfectly good sense because I've been sitting here trying to figure out why I just got this proclivity of doing A, B, now that makes sense. Yes. Not only does your physical DNA goes down from different generations to generations to generations, but your spiritual DNA does too. And your spiritual DNA may have different belief systems, different likings, you know, um, different interests that you let me look up this stuff. Oh, this comes from these people in this region of part of the world. And then you do your 23andMe and you find out that you from that same part. But no, y'all gotta do the 23andMe. It's just what I say. What I say? Oh, 49 bucks, $50, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Y'all may say that's too expensive. I'm like, you know what? In my spiritual journey, not only do I got to do the spiritual me, I got to do the physical me too. So I need to know where my people come from. And my people, according to this ancestral composition, comes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 continents: Africa, Europe, Asia, South America, North America. 5 continents. You might as well went on ahead through Australia in there, bro. I mean, I'm already 5 out of 7, so. But no, y'all got to check that out. I mean, like I said, it was amazing. It was exciting. The patience is the headache. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. The patience is the headache. But once you get your results and you read it and you be like, oh my God, I would have never thought that. it's just like if for those who like Grey's Anatomy, I was looking at this clip not too long ago. For those who like Grey's Anatomy, where the racist Caucasian lady that was in the hospital and she didn't want nobody of color touching her. And then one of the doctors, they did some tests that came back and said you were like a small percentage of black. And you would have thought the lady was going to have a heart attack and die because she was so shocked that she was that small percentage of black. And by definition, way back when, if you had a small percentage of anything, that compromised and just negated the majority of your DNA. And because like with different, especially during like segregation, not segregation, like right outside of slavery, like Jim Crow law and all that, like in segregation, like if you were someone who had a certain percentage of black, you were considered black. You could have had skin that may have been able to pass for a Caucasian brother or sister. But if you had a small percentage of black, you were considered black. So I say that to say that we do not know exactly where we come from, but we have resources here to find out where we come from and what DNA we share with other people in the country. And I'm going to tell you, to all my family members out there, which none of my family members are racist or prejudiced to another race or ethnicity. Not that I know of. The family members that I know of are not. But if they were, I'm here to tell you, if you don't like Caucasian people on my mom and you're a family member on my mom's side, you are going to be mad as hell. Okay. You're going to be mad as hell. Because what I say, 19.8%. And it's not on, and like I said, it wasn't on my dad's side because I looked it up. It wasn't on my dad's side. But 19.8% of DNA on my mama's side is Caucasian. So no, y'all gotta do this. It's actually fun. It's interesting. It's knowledgeable. And it just make you want to learn more. Find out who you are. And it help you understand. Like I said, understand a lot of stuff that goes on spiritually in you. Different spiritual traits or characteristic traits that they have. In different parts of the world. You find out, hey, I'm from that. My DNA says I'm from that same region. And you're like, yeah, I understand that. But yeah, this was fun. This was fun. Like I said, I wish it would not have gotten delayed and delayed and delayed. But this was very fun. I'm gonna take these results. I'm gonna put it in the safe. So, you know, I can share this with other family members. The day that I have kids, excuse me, I can share it with them. I can share it with some friends. I can share all of this stuff with them because, like, I was very, very, very excited. I just got a message from some cousin that I do not know, but he is from Kentucky, so I'm going to message him. Something now, but hey, but no, y'all check this out. I have enjoyed spending this hour with you all going over my 23andMe. And I want y'all to go over y'all 23andMe as well. I want y'all to do the same thing. Um, it's just fun and informative. But no, I hope each and every one of you have a great day. I speak positivity, life, fresh air, I speak the victory over anything detrimental to your safety and well being. I speak all of these things into existence in your day so that you can go on and move forward and continue this journey that we call life. I speak happiness and love inside of each and every one of you. I hope each and every one of you have a great day. Until next time, be blessed, be safe, be positive, and I love each and every one of you. See you next time.